Really? I didn't know text by text. Well, it's possible. It's possible. I don't want to disable the multi-level rendering. I like that. That's kind of a nice feature, really. May have to see if we can't update that on stream then, because why not? Okay, in the meantime, nobody's doing construction because I forgot to enable it. Okay, looks like we got a caravan, so they'll actually now this time if I check the depot access, you can see because there's so much more open space, the wagon access is much broader on the surface, obviously. Eventually, once we've got a ramp access to our depot downstairs, this temporary depot is no longer required or useful, and we need to get rid of it. So for right now, I've just got one built here from wood, just because it's easy and quick to get one up and running, and at that point, we're good. You only need to have one depot accessible to get wagons. You don't have to have both of them accessible. So it's entirely possible to do various tricks where you bait the wagon in with a depot, and then put it in one place, and you can actually wall that in and have them leave by a different route, or and then have another depot that's open so that there's always an entrance on one side of the map and an exit on the other, for example. You can do some tricks with wagon pathing as well, which we may get into later, but we won't touch right yet. Let's see. Yeah, I'll have to look. If text will be text needs an update, then I should probably go ahead and do that, because I really do like using it. It's not something I want to disable if I can avoid it. If I can't enable it pretty quickly on the street, yeah. If I can't enable it on, update it quickly on stream, then it's not going to be useful to me here. Hang on a second, guys. Let me see if I can't get that updated right now, because I don't really want to crash the game again. Well, we ended up with more discs this time, so yay, I guess. Oh, somebody had a disagreement. Naked Mole Dog just had a problem with one of our dogs and has not yet been dealt with. Where is this? Okay, that was very screwed up. Thank you, Dwarf Fortress, for that, but you did it wrong. Well, did they kill the damn thing? Nope, still fighting it. I can hear it. Must have taken off out of the fort. There it goes. Yeah, that's not acceptable. Get the hell out of here. There we go. There we go. Dog is all over it. Dog's got it. Thrash that thing. Let me see if they do a good job, or is the dog damn thing gonna still be out there? Let's see. Tearing his ears up pretty good. Got on him, but didn't do a whole lot to him, did he? Gonna have to draft somebody and get him to whoop the Moldog for a moment. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The first blood has been drawn. Thought we got a caravan. Where the hell is the wagon train? Apparently they decided to leave. Awesome. More discs, no trading. Well, damn. We'll install this plugin real fast if we can get it updated real quick. I would love to not be breaking my game. That would be nice. We will download this. Yes, we will. Let's do it in Windows. I get nagged again by WinRAR because I keep forgetting to put in the code for the shareware. Don't think we want to install all this other stuff. I don't think we'll need all the other stuff, just the plugs. Okay. Bear with me, guys. And we'll save out real fast. Drop these plugins in and restart, and that should fix the problem. If it's text, will be text. It should just be a matter of replacing the DLLs. And again, I'm making the assumption there were no internal structure changes, yada yada yada. Yeah, there's a few assumptions going into that I'm not as familiar with the installation of the individual utility as I might otherwise be. So bear with me a second. We'll just replace all of those. And now that those are all updated, I don't know if this version fixes all of their crashes. Let me check their page real fast and see if they say something on the dev. Not sure if the dev builds will. Not sure if the dev builds will work for us here or not. We got to look. And what I don't know is if text will be text 5.7 is linked to something further in, and this doesn't give me enough information about that. So let's try what we've got first before we proceed any deeper. Okay. Actually, no. Let's do one other thing that I keep forgetting to do. Don't need game sound if we're using sound sense, do we? Yeah, I didn't know text will be text was having problems. If I'd known that, I would have had it fixed before now. It's fairly simple to install a one of if you've got the that didn't look good. Cross our fingers that actually did fix whatever problem they were having. At least it's still working okay. So at least it looks like it's okay. So all right. Let's see if that fixes the problem or not. We'll see. I've got it saved, so we have a more recent backup point than we did before. We can floor over that staircase because that's the one that leads to our well. We need to get the grate built. Need to get a grate there. And I can remove 2 of the 3 pieces off the end because the third one I still need to be there until that wall section is built. There we go. Well, they're just fighting Naked Bulldog from one side of the map to the other around here, aren't they? Truth is, I think our dogs are getting the worst of it. We'll have to do something about that. They're not real super effective as weapons, but they're more than sufficient to deal with naked mole dogs.
More migrants. Can't we pass a law?
Hey, let's see. Maybe we'll get more migrants this time around. Doubt it. But no real good farmers in the mix in there. Tanner. Really good furnace operator, I guess. I can have him do furnace operations in his spare time. Whole lot of nothing going on up in here. Okay, hang on. I got one engineer. All right. That's about it. Everything else is pretty much... For the record, the one thing that I'm still find freaking hilarious is the complete absence of power in dog bites. Frankly, when the moment this naked mole dog falls unconscious from overexertion, that dog ought to be on its throat like white on rice. And since it's overexerted and can't defend itself, that dog ought to have a death grip on it. At which point, you know, the bulldog ought to find its head somewhere other than its body. But they don't. They sit there and they just keep nibbling at it for hours on end. Toady needs to add some slightly more advanced animal routines for predators. Just bound determined he's going to get that damn thing, isn't he? Mole dog all bled in the water and everything. Look at this guy. Everywhere. Holy hell. We canceling the bronze helm task as well? No? Okay, so we still have some bronze to make helms with. That's good. Aw, yeah. Our hunter is on the job. Go, hunter, go. Since we had a hunter come in, the hunter will normally, so if you have somebody comes in with their highest skill is hunt, right here in the middle, they'll actually come in normally with a quiver and crossbow of their own. At which point you can immediately put them to work as hunters if you really want to, Be cognizant of hunting in evil terrain. It's highly unadvisable that you actually do any hunting in a place where the dead will come back to life. Because your hunter will go out, he will kill a bear, and the next thing you know, you will have a zombie bear who will kill your hunter and then come for the rest of your fortress. And it won't happen right away. Oh, no. That would be too easy. No, it'll happen when the hunter is in the process of carrying the bear back to the fortress. So he'll be nice and heavy and slow and overloaded when the zombie comes back to life. And right there next to it when it gets its first swings. But the ears taste better. They must, I guess. I'm not sure how else to justify the hours, days long conflict as this dog chases the same mole rat halfway across the map. I mean, I wouldn't think these things were actually all that big. Surely a hunter with some reasonable hunting skill would be putting these things down pretty quick, but our dogs are sure not getting it done. That's for positive. Look at him go. Look at all those arrows he's taken. Holy hell. Just absolutely pin-cushioned every leg this guy has. Lower body. This thing must look like a porcupine at this point. And it's still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. I'm used to RimWorld where shit will bleed out. I've been playing RimWorld so much. Still going. Nothing outlasts the Naked Mole Dog. Okay, so we're cranking out wooden bolts so our hunter won't go completely idle once we get to that point. Probably wouldn't hurt to think about maybe a backup carpenter just to have one. Right now, we're not going to have you doing any carpentry, though. You'll do those other things. In this case, I am setting up a stone stockpile to supply my masons and my stone crafters. But in this case, I want to disable metal ores. I don't want them processing iron ore into ore-based amulets. I would rather make the ore into bars and make iron amulets instead. They're worth more. And I'll get more amulets out of it. Ditto for economic stone. This would include marble, which is our flux, and we want to save that for steel making. And coal, which we want to save for obviously making coke. Clay is out because I don't want to treat that as a stone in this case. I want to treat that as clay, and we're going to be using stone crafters and masons, and they don't work with clay, so that's useless. Which just leaves the other stone category. Eventually, this stockpile will be solely for the purposes of storing obsidian. Since we're talking about building an obsidian farm, at some point we're going to have to set up a stockpile to hold all of our obsidian, and our masons and our crafters will work exclusively in obsidian at that point. But that's a little further down the road. Okay. This is one that always bones you. Dwarves gather refuse from outside includes things like corpses, for example. You want to make sure that they're gathering those. Let's see. At the moment, I don't care about dwarves saving other. So dwarves can dump off nervous tissue and ligaments and whatever all that your dwarves actually won't use. They'll dump those in a garbage zone. And speaking of garbage zones, we need to actually create one. So let's do that now. Okay, now what we're doing here is actually two things in one, and the one is hidden. We're going to dig out a small little tunnel here, and off of that we're going to stick our garbage chute, which is just a hole, basically a hole in the ground. There's a particular peculiarity about how dwarves throw garbage away in garbage zones. Oh yes, and the walls in the cave. Thank you for reminding me, because we'd probably have pierced the cave and left that open still. Damn crash. Okay, I already got it marked. It just hasn't been cut. There's a particular peculiarity about how dwarves throw stuff in a garbage zone. If they are adjacent to a hole, like they will be in this case once this is dug out by our miners, then they will drop the stuff in the hole rather than depositing it at their feet. So when you create a garbage zone that covers this hole and the small square, the dwarves will move to this point, stand on this spot, and pitch their garbage into the hole. Now there's two advantages here. Because there's a diagonal involved, unless Toadie's changed it, miasma stink from all the rotting stuff in the pit won't actually leave the pit. It'll sit in the pit completely airtight, and we won't have to do anything. Basically, dwarves walk up, they throw their garbage in, and somehow it rots, but it never stinks. We don't know how, it just works. So, this little trick will keep the stink out of your fortress and allow you to have a safe indoor garbage disposal. If at some point Toadie eventually fixes that and decides to make stink spread diagonally, then at that point you could simply install a door in one of these two squares and it would lock the stink in at that point the same way. The dwarves would be exposed to it when they threw the garbage out, but hey, what are you going to do? You could work around that with a complex mechanic involving a deeper garbage chute. If you dropped it 15 or so floors into the ground at that point, even if it spreads, you're never going to notice. Put an access door at the bottom, maybe in case you need to get into it later to pull bones or something out. Doesn't look like I can set generic wood for my bolts, which is kind of an annoyance. Unless I'm missing it here, it does not appear that you have that option. So it knows that it's outputting bolts, but it doesn't know that it's outputting generic wooden bolts, and you can't. I don't really figure wooden crossbows are my most important thing if I'm that short on wood, so if we're down to 30 logs, I'll cut them off. This will keep us 10 in stockpile, so if we start equipping our militia, we'll start making more crossbows to equip them with. If necessary, I could do this. This will only make 1 crossbow a day. We don't want to do that, so let's back up. Let's do that. Do it again, because I do want to make it about 10, so that it makes enough of them that it's worthwhile to do it. There's kind of an annoyance if you want to maintain very small stockpile numbers of things. Because you're only checking daily, you'll make your products very slowly if you're adding only 1 at a time. And if you want to maintain, say, 10 of them at once, if you scoop all 10 at once, it's going to go, oh, look, we don't have 10. It'll make 1 and go, oh, look, I made my 1, I'm done. And then it'll take another day to make a second one. And so it takes 10 days to refill what you can scoop out of your stockpile in 10 seconds. Which is kind of an issue. So you'll have to add a wooden crossbow, and we'll have to make it 10 so we can do it that way. This will also make a few extras. That'll work. Actually, that's going to make a whole lot more bolts than I really want. That's not what I want to do at all. All right, I think we've got the wood stuff set up now. And since we have so many idlers, We're going to throw one wheelbarrow on the stockpile until we get some more wheelbarrows built. You can see them bringing the stones here for our masons to be using, so now our mason will have plenty of materials right on hand to start cranking out furniture. Our carpenter likewise is going to have his wood delivered right to his doorstep, basically. Until the wheelbarrow shows up, they'll do all the stone hauling by hand, and they'll haul all of the stone basically here, and they'll fill this stockpile pretty quickly by themselves, just one at a time. Afterward, I'm going to want 2 or 3 wheelbarrows at least in this stockpile, just to keep an inflow going while there's a mason working, for example. If I expect to keep up with all 4 workshops going at once, then I'm going to probably have to have 5 or 6 wheelbarrows minimum and constantly running. The maximum number of wheelbarrows is the maximum number of haulers, once there's wheelbarrows available, that will be dedicated to the stockpile. So at this point, we only have one guy servicing the stockpile. He'll take the wheelbarrow each time, and each one will deposit the wheelbarrow when they're done. We still have a ton of idlers, don't we? Are we really that far ahead of our hauling? Really? Everybody going to be doing hauling now. Come on, guys. Either that or we just don't have anything to haul. In which case I need to do a lot more production. Okay. Apparently we really don't have anything to haul. So, we need to get everybody who isn't doing something, doing something. We'll start cranking out the first instruments and toys to give to our tots and what all. Are you sure he didn't change that at some point? I think that the original did allow only 3 wheelbarrows, but I think he went back and changed that because people pointed out that if they made a big stockpile, it would take forever to fill it with 3 guys, but you could drain it very quickly with 10 workshops, for example. Whew, and that's everything. Okay, now I get to go back and add all the conditions for all those different instruments. Yay. Give me a second. So in addition to the product and reagent conditions that we normally would add to make sure that the necessary components are available, we also want to make sure that these jobs have been done. So basically, they won't run the assembly job unless they've already done these jobs. Now that would be necessary if you wanted to make sure, for example, that you had the necessary things. Now notice we also have a problem here because this is only going to assemble 5 of these, but it's expecting 10 keyboards. So I'll need to make sure that the ESML tasks are going to produce at least 10 of their item. So it'll make up to 10 of them. That's okay. That's good. But it'll only make 5 at a go, which means that it'll have to do 2 cycles of this, 2 days of producing the materials before it would kick off the assembly job.